What's the next approach? Oh wait, did we finish this? Oh yeah, we're supposed to get to the basement somehow. Okay. Sound check, 1 2. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Oh man, I ain't got the energy for this. Alright. I forgot the oven is on. One minute or two. Oh well, whatever. I can't really be bothered to do all the extras tonight. We're not going to be on all for long anyways. Hopefully we get to speak to some people and just call it a night. Test 1 2. We got sound or no? Oh, something's wrong. Oh, I forgot to change the text on the screen. Oh, I'm just not prepared today. I'm tired. Oh well. We're all landing in Fortnite zone anyways. Okay. Yeah. Word in. Are you trolling, bro? What? We'll just play offline. Yeah, you gotta be trolling, bro. Man said not when you're as hot as me, you know. Weird. Oh, I get it. Yeah, that was a pun. I'm so slow. I get it. So smoking should be banned. Not when you're as hot as me. That makes a lot of sense. Right. Should I restart the stream? I did something wrong. I'll give it 10. No, I think we should re-go straight away. Sooner the better. Let's check our tags. Yeah, probably should have just had a rest in it. The old man used to say, rest yourself. See. Okay. I'm saying tokens should be banned. But I forgot to do the text on the screen. Sub persona. I don't know, right? When you say it failed, are you talking about what happened in America? Because technically, America didn't have a war on drugs. They had a war on black people. That's actually what happened. So if you're the one flooding the streets with the chemical substances, you can't say that you're having a war against the substances. So that's what you're referencing. There was never really a war against drugs, bro. You've got to think about how much the black market makes up, specifically in the US. And you think about how the CIA has functioned historically with the South of America. Shut up! With the South of America specifically, the destabilization of other small countries via drugs. America's never truly had a war on drugs, just like they've never truly had a war on terrorism. It's kind of just PR. But that's my opinion though. Maybe you're talking about something different. I don't know. Alright folks, could we tap that like so we can get some people to talk to? I'm going to do a little test call in to make sure we've got sound for the old guests. The guests could be the best and I could be the host with the most, you know? Or the host with the toast. Or the toast for... Anyways. So that's obviously. Alright, yeah, I need you guys to tap that like and share the stream so we can talk to some guests. If you wouldn't mind. Test. You can kind of hear me. But hearing myself is no fun. I do that all day. Who wants to come home and hear themselves? Test. No, you know. Test. Okay, don't do it, bro. Like, give me one good reason why you should do that. Or why we should let you do that as a society. Come on, request that. I don't know what a weeb is, Comet Evolution. I think bullying should be banned if that's what you're trying to do. You definitely don't think clearly. Okay, come up here. Let's have a conversation, bro. Because that is the craziest thing you could have said after what you just said. Bro said, I'm about to roll up, right? And I said, why should society allow you to do that? And he said, because I think clearly. It's like, what? It's like, it's literally the opposite. What are you talking about? It's like, that's a demonstration of you not being able to think clearly. It's like, what the hell? Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm saying smoking should be banned. I think the cons outweigh the pros. Both tobacco and cannabis, I think they should both be banned. No, that's not true, Comet. No one has ever been under the influence of drugs and got a clear mind. That's literally not. It's like literally not what drugs do. You guys are so delusional. It's actually scary. See what addiction does to people. And you just think like. So right, I spend a lot of time combating religious rhetoric. Okay, and I can see what like cognitive dissonance and just bias in general does in a religious realm with people who are apparently sober-minded. Now, if you give those same like people prone to cognitive dissonance substances, it just gets worse. They're like completely out of touch with reality. It's insane. It's like they just cannot see it. So the thing is, right, the problem with decriminalization, persona, is look, until you actually, right, so it's like a how can I explain this? It's like a self-perpetuating cycle of doom, right? So here's why it's a self-perpetuating cycle of doom, specifically with the cannabis. Now, in terms of like other hard substances, I don't even really want to talk about those. I think they should stay banned for sure, right? But specifically with the green stuff, okay? So the problem with decriminalization is this. If you decriminalize it, right, meaning to make it legal before you actually get a hold of the market and the production of it, you're actually just creating a massive audience for the drug, for black markets, for cartels. And I know like it sounds like kind of extreme, but like drug money essentially does fund terrorism, you know. And it's scary to think about it, but it actually does. Uh, so yeah, and then why it's a perpetuating cycle is because when you commercialize it, meaning you make it corporate, you make cannabis viable to the corporate commercialization. What you do is create an arms race to raise the THC levels, basically, to make it more potent, to get more product, to get more customers and sell more product. So essentially, you mess people up doubly. So you can't decriminalize it until you control it, and if you control it, then you're just like basically effing the people over. So it's just a self-perpetuating cycle, bro. Well, yeah, look, put it this way, right? Anything that's below 10% THC potency is safe and medicinal. Anything above 10% is basically dangerous. And the problem with addiction, specifically cannabis, is the people who smoke it get addicted and they become accustomed to it, or like, I forget the word for it. They build a tolerance for it, okay? So where they would just get high off like one toke of really low grade initially, I'll give you a source in a sec after this fight, right? Where they would have got high off like one toke initially, due to the dependency on it and the tolerance built up, they now have to acquire higher and higher potency via the THC, or how the cannabinoids interact with their brain. So going beyond the 10%, the under 10% THC actually puts you at significantly higher risk for CIPs, cannabis-induced psychosis, long-term schizophrenia, etc., damage to prefrontal cortex, okay? There's plenty of evidence of this. So in the medicinal use, it's supposed to stay below 10%. Like recreational use, street consumption is way over 10%. In the last 10 years, it's gone over 10%, all the way up to 80 and 90%. And when you start thinking about extractions and like the pure versions of it, where people using vapes and stuff like that, that's in the 80 to 90%, right? So that's way beyond safe levels. Your mind literally cannot handle that stuff, right? So that's the problem with so if you decriminalize it and you don't get a lock on the market, you basically open up a bigger audience for the black market, for drugs basically, and like, you know, drug dealers essentially. But if you do get a lock on it on the market, now you create a commercialization, just basically feed into capitalism via this new substance, which is almost twice as addictive as tobacco, given the context of the psychoactive effects. So it's effed either way you look at it, bro. The only safe bet is to not get involved with it at all. That's literally the only safe way. Like that old that War Games clip. The only way to win is not to play. So it's just you're effed, bro. Alright, so what was sorry man, I got too much tabs open in a real way. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a source for this dude. Be nice. Oh, do you know what? I think there is a way to do it. Like when you do a search, you can search the web page for a word, but I don't know how to do it. So I literally have to scroll through all of it and just like skim it. So I don't know. Show me some PDF, bro. So the data sources, potency and psychosis data, Lancet, LANCET, psychiatry, a longitudinal multi-center study on high potency cannabis and psychotic disorders, European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, that's EMCDDA for short, and potency tracking Bruce. Then you've got the sources for cognitive and IQ decline, National Academy of Sciences, Dunis, New Zealand, Dune-did, I don't even know how to pronounce these, cohort study, New Zealand Dune-did cohort study tracking long-term adolescents' cognitive shifts, National Institute of Health, that's NIH, NIDA. For the person that asked me for the sources, these are the sources. Oh yeah, NID, NIH, NIDA, adolescent brain cognitive development data updates, and then the commercialization insights, England Journal of Medicine, Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, Pediatrics, evaluation regarding changes in adolescent usage behavior post commercialization, corporate lobbying, transparency tracking. Right. So, anyways, right. So specifically, the data or the source for the potency issue is this: the Lancet Psychiatry, right, or D40 et al. Longitudinal multi-center study on high potency cannabis and psychotic disorders. Sorry, I'm tired after work. European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, EMCDDA, potency tracking briefs. Right. So the point was this: basically, the anything below 10% is THC levels is safe on a medicinal use. Anything above that, which is like, you know, what is actually on the street, is basically just going to F you over long term. It's going to get psychological issues. And then obviously you've got issues with people coming into emergency services with high rates, heart rates, and of course CIP, cannabis-induced psychosis. And during that state of cannabis-induced psychosis, oh guys, it's like 40 plus people. Can we tap the likes, bro? Right. So basically during that experience of cannabis-induced psychosis, people are basically, they're like delusional, so they're in a heightened state of fear. They think people are trying to get them, think people are trying to kill them. So that also puts them at physical danger as well. Okay, so it's just there's lots to it. Well, as time goes on, we'll get like all of this clicking like that, so we can just tell you, yeah, that is weed. That's literally weed. But anyways, alright, I'm saying smoking should be banned outright. Feel free to come up and talk to me about it if you can change my mind. I would like to hear your argument for it. Alright, I can't remember how to get to the basement. I want to fight that the guy, the captain dude riding the hog. I can't remember how to get there. Yeah, I disagree, bro. I think so that there's studies that show you get a temporary acute alleviation from your anxiety, e.g. your stresses, but like the long-term damages it just outweighs it completely. So the problem with addiction is while you're experiencing use of the drug, it does temporarily like reduce your stresses. But the minute you come out of contact with the substance, it raises your baseline stresses. So you're stressed way more every time you don't have access to the drug, just like in general chemical dependency. Because like half of addiction is psychological, but when you're addicted to something that is a chemical substance, the other half is basically chemical dependency. So you just like doubly effed. But yeah, so the argument, like I think one of the biggest, right, so there's like two angles to the problem of the free will part of it. People think you have the right to do whatever you want, or to your autonomy, but there's actually a human right. I think it's like Article 12 that overrides that, because basically Article 12 is that you have a right to. Actually, let me just like give you the round kind of quoting of it, so I don't just butcher it. Dude, get out of the way, man. But basically, it basically says you have a right to health, basically. So this is HRC, basically. It's just like a covenant. It's kind of like human rights, but it's an agreement, and it's not like anyways, like you can research this stuff for yourself. I don't really care. This is up for you to look into. So the state's parties to present covenant recognizes the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard for physical and mental health, right? So that right would come before the right to complete bodily autonomy, okay? Why that would come before that is because it pertains to your rights as a child. The standards for people becoming smokers is between the ages of 10 and 20. Right? So most people who begin smoking between the ages of 10 and 20 and are usually chemically dependent on nicotine or cannabis by the time they're 16 or 18. You can't actually make adult decisions until you're after the age of 25, because your prefrontal cortex isn't actually developed, and the cannabinoids and like other various drug use can delay or completely like inhibit that development. So basically, right, your right to a healthy life which would be like an actual human right kind of thing, is coerced out away from you before you're 25. So now only 11% of all the smokers in the world start smoking after the age of 25. There's 1.3 billion smokers in the world, and only 11% of them start smoking after the age of 25, bro. So yeah, like the rights that you should have as a child aren't protected. So for you to be able to make a sound choice as an adult, you you can't be under the influence of drugs already. So you literally, your freedom has been robbed from you already. And the problem with chemical dependency is it actually does make your decisions for you. That's the problem. Okay, so yeah, for the like crazy 11% of adults that decide to start smoking after 25, now they can make a bit more of an informed choice, but one might argue they're worse for even choosing it after 25. It's just, it doesn't make sense. So there's that. But yeah, like feel free to request that. We can talk about it. I'm just gonna go switch off the oven. So yeah, like, and the bodily autonomy has its limitations legally as well, right? For instance, you can't oh damn it, you can't legally consent to cannibalization and stuff like that. So there are like quite clear limits on bodily autonomy. It's just whether how far we're willing to enforce them or not. Yo,
Yo,
how you doing, bro?
so I'm just
Yo,
I'm
hold
just
on,
gonna
one
confused. I
sec,
get what
one
you're
sec,
saying
Matthew,
that
one
it
sec,
could it
Matthew, one sec,
was
Matthew.
yeah.
Guys, there's 52 of you in here, right? And not one of you are tapping the like. Are you telling me you're all that choked up by your addiction that you can't hit the like button? Do you know how embarrassing that is? Anyways, let's talk, Matthew. Right? How you doing, bro?
I get what you're saying that it can be used bad, but if marijuana is used in the way that it's intended to, I
As
know
it's
you know that
intended to. What?
cancer patients and
How,
other
how
people
is
that
it?
are medically sick and
How
they
is it
get
intended to be
marijuana
used?
treatment, it's like I said, if you let me finish, cancer patients and other people in hospital get medical marijuana treatments and they get better and feel better after getting those. That's the fact.
All right,
You
so
need me to
so
that's a fact.
there's a clear. All right, I don't disagree
That's
with you.
literally why
All
they
right, I'll
made
let you
medical
speak.
marijuana is for
Aha,
people
you
that
hear what
need
you
it.
said there? Keyword medical, right? So I don't disagree
But
with
that's
what
what I'm
you're
saying. If
saying.
it's used
I
correctly
don't disagree
in the
with what you're
medical
saying, brother.
purposes
If you
of
don't
it,
listen, I'm gonna drop you. I don't want to have a like arguing match, bro. I want to talk to you like a human being. Show respect, okay? So when I speak, you listen. When you speak, I'll listen. If you don't want to abide by that, you can leave. It's up to you now. You cool with
man, I
that?
understand that, but
Are
I
you
was
cool
in the
with
middle
that?
of what I was saying
Are you cool with that?
and you interrupted me.
Cool. Right. So, anyways, right, there's a clear separation
Like,
between medicinal use and recreational use. So, in a medical setting, we're talking about an actual product that's been produced by doctors and pharmacists, which would likely be beneath the 20% THC threshold, which is like medically sound. Okay, so there's a difference. Don't conflate the two. A lot of people do that. Just like for
but
instance,
you're saying
the
it should be
poppy
banned. If
the
it's
poppy
banned, you
plant.
can't get it at all.
I'm saying, for
So,
instance, something like the poppy plant, or basically the things that produce opioids, within a medical context, they're safe to use under supervision. But in like a recreational use, like it's not safe to use like fentanyl and heroin, all these kinds of opiate. Okay, so there's a
and that's what I
difference.
was saying. That's what I'm saying.
All right,
If
so
it's used correctly, it shouldn't be
okay,
banned.
right, but you're not
If it's
talking.
used medically, it
We're not
shouldn't be
talking
banned.
about that. We're not talking about a medical setting because we're not. We're talking as general
But
public.
if you ban something, you can't use it either way.
No,
So
that's
that's what
not
I'm saying.
correct.
It
That's
shouldn't be
that's
banned
incorrect.
because it's medically used.
Okay, that's incorrect. Like I was just trying to explain to you, right? Heroin is illegal, right? Various types of opioids are illegal on a street level, but they are definitely part of the medicine industry. So you're incorrect, okay? We're talking about public recreational consumption of substances, not medical practice, bro. Okay? You're still there, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Because
Uh,
I'm a user, and you say people that don't use when they're not using are stressed. I'm not stressed. When I go to work, I work eight. When I do work, I work 8 hours a day.
alright.
I don't smoke at work, and I'm not stressed. So I
Alright,
just don't believe
so
that to be true.
that's fair. From an anecdotal perspective, I can't tell you your experience. I don't know you, and I'm not you, right? So that's fair. That's your experience. Can I ask you how old you are?
24,
When did you begin smoking weed?
16. So I've been smoking for 8 years.
Right, so your autonomy was snatched from you because you began to smoke an addictive substance as a child.
But then you say that it should be making me stressful. I shouldn't be making
Brother,
my own
that's a
decisions and
side.
stuff like
That's a
that.
side. You can't make your own decisions on this level at 16. You simply can't. You've got like 1 year until you're out of the woods, and you've already like hindered yourself by 6 to 8
But
IQ points already.
but I can't make my own decisions. But I work. I buy my own groceries. I pay
Yeah,
my
that's
bills.
true.
I pay my
That's
phone
true,
bill.
right?
But that's making my own decisions. No,
Right, yeah, that's true on a certain level. But when you're talking about life changing or damaging decisions, right? There's a reason
life
why
changing. I'm
people.
saving for a car. Saving for an apartment. That's life changing. No.
We're talking about the consumption of substances, bro, not like economic standards. Okay, so it's quite different. Like I don't want to like throw out analogies because it might hurt some people's feelings, right? But what I'm trying to say to you is this: your ability to think clearly as an adult and make sound, rational, informed decisions has been impinged upon or infringed upon if you begin smoking at the age of 16 because you don't have that capacity yet. Now, I'm not saying you might not be a child genius and a prodigy or whatever. Like, it's rare, and again, it's anecdotal. But the standard human being, your brain isn't fully finished developing, or your prefrontal cortex, for that matter, isn't fully developed till after the age of 25. And studies are now showing that people technically don't become full responsible adults till around the age of 32. Okay?
Okay, so what do you say to all the millions of people in professional sports making millions of dollars that smoke before every game?
I
What do you
think
say to that?
I think they're idiots. I think
They're
they're,
idiots.
I think they're idiots on
Do you
two.
know
I
Jalen
think
Brown
I think they're
graduated from
idiots.
Harvard and he smokes every day?
Yeah, I think they're idiots on two levels. One, they're being exploited by the sports industry, and two, they're using substances that are basically preventable. They don't need to use. So yes, I think they're idiots. Go into a college that's recognised. Getting a scholarship or being good at maths doesn't mean you're not an idiot in other arenas of life. Okay. So that's what I say.
mean-
Since you
I mean,
asked,
Jalen Brown's a millionaire. Graduated from one of the best
bro,
colleges.
anecdotal. Are you a millionaire that graduated from the best college?
No, but I'm doing
So,
good.
so what makes you think your experience will be analogous to his?
It doesn't matter. We're all equal.
No, we're not. Right? If that would
Yeah,
be the
we're all
case,
human.
if that were the case, you
Okay,
would be
I'ma
playing
leave
sport.
because that's how I
You
know
would
you're-
be playing
you just said we're
sport.
not all equal, but we're
No,
all
all right. So,
human
all right, give
beings.
me an
That's rage bait in
argument.
itself.
Give me an
That's
argument.
rage
No,
bait in
no,
itself.
seriously. Give me an argument that convince me that we're all equal. Oh, bro, ran. Okay, safe. Like, bro, my guy's tripping. Like, it's like, with all due respect, it's a very young-minded and kind of like naive thing to say. Like, oh, there's this sports player who's like, who's like famous and has money. He does this, so it's okay. It's like this is the problem with like undue influence on the population. Okay, you shouldn't be looking to sportsmen for your politics, for your health. Like any number of these kinds of people who do specific things. If you want to get advice about how to like bounce a ball really good, score a goal really good, yeah, study them by all means, right? But like life advice, like real decision making, most of these people are like they're tools, bro. With all due respect, they're quite silly, right? And basically they're under the ownership and guidance of other people. For the majority, right? Specifically, if they're in the public eye like that, they're not regular people like me and you. Okay, so it's just a very, very bad point of reference, bro. It's like, yeah, sure, everyone's Einstein then if that's the case. It's just terrible. Yo, how you doing, bro? You're a bit quiet. You sound like you're far away from the mic.
Good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What's your name?
My name is Eddie.
Nice to meet you, Eddie. What do you want to talk about?
I was, watching your stream, and, I agree with some of the things you say because, I recently quit smoking weed,
Folks.
but I remember I was smoking every day, and,
Congratulations. Well done.
my point of view on it is, it becomes addicting. Like anything can become addicting if you're trying to numb something or escape something, and that's
Legit.
what most people do when they smoke. They're trying to numb a feeling, they're trying to escape their own reality. So,
Yeah.
if you use
or they're
it in
just
that
trying to
way,
feel
then-
good, or they're just literally trying to
Yeah.
feel good. Right.
Yeah,
But that's one of the biggest things that damages you. It's like people who take steroids and testosterone. your body naturally produces testosterone, okay? So if you start taking it exogenously, it basically dampens your body's ability to produce testosterone. So now you become chemically dependent on that. Then you have to start taking other drugs to balance out the damage you've done there. Same thing happens when you start using cannabis and other substances like that, because it reduces your dopamine production. Right? So you basically become addicted to that, like that feel good thing. You raise the tolerance of what it takes to feel good. So now before you know it, you're using like 80% high like cannabis, right? It's basically almost hard drugs, which is insane, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the guy who said, I bet you this guy who said he stopped smoking drinks a lot of alcohol. Actually, I used to drink a lot of alcohol too. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, but I quit alcohol too, you feel me? I used to
Well
drink
done,
Four
man.
Locos and shit,
Well done, my friend.
so
Keep that up, man. That's a solid way to be. It's unfortunate that you had to even experience it in the first place, but it's a good place to be.
yeah, and like this is coming from somebody who would dead ass say, "Oh, I'm not gonna stop smoking weed because I love smoking weed," like
At least you're honest about it.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, at least you're honest. Some people can't even get to that point of saying, "Oh, I do this because I like it." Like they just, yeah, it's just cognitive dissonance in a very deep way. But
And it's like I feel like one misconception that people get too is like, they say weed isn't addicting, but it
oh, it
definitely
is.
is.
It is.
Like I
That's a
said,
myth.
coming from somebody who would smoke every day and who would be like, shit, I'm a die a stoner. I don't care. You feel me? But like, now I can say that weed is addicting for sure. You feel me?
Oh yeah, that's literally like a propaganda myth. It's like that's a massive myth. Weed is. Remember what I just explained to you about the dopamine production? The cannabinoids affect that dopamine production, which is what creates part of that addiction, the chemical dependence. So half is the psychology of it. It's like the ritual of doing the same thing, trying to experience enjoyment various different times, and the other half is the chemical dependence, the feeling of being high, the release of dopamine. Right, so there's no doubt about it. Weed is addictive. Like it's only like misinformed or just bad faith people who say weed isn't addictive. Like it's just ridiculous.
And then even like apart from weed and shit, I feel like the problem with like our generation is like we're just constantly chasing dopamine, whether that be with weed, alcohol, or whatever.
That's true. That's true. They're like, put it this way, we're only human at the end of the day. So with that taken into consideration, right, yeah, and like again, I'm no Christian, of course. I'm atheist about this, but just the same fact could be said. We're not perfect, and there's like no one is perfect. So I hear it,
Yeah.
but man, like we should be striving towards a better, healthier society in any way we can, and this is one of those things that we got to tackle. I think to make it easier.
Yeah.
But Eddie, bro, it was nice having you up. I'm glad that you agree on the points. I want to speak to some people who are angrily against what I have to say. All right.
All right, man. Yeah, it was good being here too.
Nice speaking to you, bro. All right. So, folks, right, I want to bring some people up, but we've got 61 people and like 1K likes. Let's get those likes up, and I'll bring the next person up. Like you guys are moving bad, man. I can't even lie. Moving kind of bad, man. Like, are you getting enjoyment? Are you getting education? Or are you like, are you not entertained? No, I'm just playing. Yes, you can join, but let's get the likes up first. Let's try to hit 5K and we'll bring people up because we could just play games for a bit like we're supposed to. But yeah, if you could kindly tap that screen and repost, it goes a long way, right? It'd be very nice of you. All right. Now, how do I get to this bloody captain? I know, no, I'm leaving that building now. That's not what I want to do. Okay. We've already beat Mesmer, so it's this area we need to get to. But I can't remember how. No, actually. In order to get there, we need to go from outside, I think. Damn it, I can't remember how to get there. Does anyone know how to get to that place? You know the guy that's like riding the animal thing? Guys that even tapping the screen, I just forget about it then, I guess. Find the back entrance. I thought that as well. Like, there's a bit that you have to empty this bit when it's all flooded, but I can't remember what to do. Alright. I'm gonna capitulate. Let's give someone a chance to come up. Thanks for tapping the like, anyways. And Nancy,
Yo,
how you doing, bro?
I'm alright. Can you hear me okay?
You're a little bit muffled.
Yeah, I don't got a great microphone setup. I can speak up a little bit though, if that helps.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, 'cause it's kind of muffled. Sounds like your hand's over your mic, or your phone case might be over your mic or something.
This is my hair. It might be my hair. Is that better?
Yeah, we'll do. What's up, anyways?
Okay. I just wanted to talk about this topic, like should smoking be banned?
Hmm.
Um, I feel I want to approach it from a different angle, from a slightly different angle, because I think like I don't think it should be banned. I don't really think that's right for a number of reasons.
Give
But the
some
main
reasons.
Yeah, the main reason I want to approach it from right now is the policing angle. I don't think
Okay.
there's a way to effectively police smoking that wouldn't make everyone less free and less safe and less happy.
Why do you
I
think
don't
that?
think it's possible, and I think there's historical evidence for this because the Prohibition era,
Wrong.
it during the Prohibition era when they tried to ban alcohol and stuff,
No.
there are a number of
Or
ways
it's,
why it didn't work out.
yeah, there are. There
I'm
are.
not done. I'm not done explaining.
That's a
I
bad case
understand you think I'm
study.
wrong. I understand you think I'm wrong. Let me explain myself before you start trying to debunk what I'm saying, because I haven't actually made my point yet.
Well, yeah, it's dangerous to let you keep going on if you're gonna like yap and not address like the problem. You
Well,
know,
I
that's
am.
why
I
that's
am.
why I
I am
interrupt.
just I'm trying to explain why the policing of the Prohibition era didn't work and
Okay.
why it wouldn't work now. So for one, when they started policing, it didn't actually stop people from drinking, right? That's number one. People continued to drink, and they formed social third spaces where they could do so safely.
Oh
So
boy.
the ban. So on top of that, it caused a boom in organized crime because you banned this thing that people want. People are still trying to get it. So organized crime became more of an issue. This is where like the mob,
I know.
the Italian and Irish mobs in the
Yeah,
1920s
Al
come from. They
Capone. Al
get a lot of
Capone.
their political power and their money from prohibition
Yes,
in a way
yes.
that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't banned. And
All
that's
right,
part of
bro.
the reason
But
why
you gotta tie
prohibition
this
ended.
up. You gotta tie this up.
Because what do you mean tie it up?
Like, get to the final point, because the point of prohibition has some serious issues with
The
it.
final point that final point that I'm getting to is that banning weed has had the exact same effect as prohibition, and on top of the fact that more people are being arrested and losing their freedom over this and having their
All
civil
right.
rights violated, it's not actually making anyone more safe, and it's making the organized crime around the substance more powerful, more lucrative,
What are
and
you
more
talking?
dangerous.
All right. So right, you're done now, right? So let me address a couple of points you're making.
And this is
So
as much time as you're going to give me to make my point. It doesn't seem like you really
yeah,
want to
cool.
do it
Because you've
that
been
much.
you've
So
been
yeah, I'm
yapping,
done.
bro. You've been yapping, right? It's all right. Now,
I thought I was brought on to yap.
prohibition,
You wanted to hear
prohibition,
my
prohibition is not analogous to what's going on with cannabis currently, right? So some of the
why not?
biggest, some of the let me speak. I'll let you speak, right? So some of the
You
biggest
really didn't.
problems with
Why not?
prohibition.
Like, explain why
I'm
not.
going to if you fucking listen, right? So prohibition, right? Initially, it was a Christian experiment in the government, right? That in itself wasn't the proper way to enact it, right? The second thing is they assigned 1,500 agents to police the whole of the United States. Okay, so it wasn't enforced properly. The third thing is there was a lot of corruption in that police, in the various police forces, and amongst those 1,500 agents. The fourth thing, if I didn't miss a third, right, it was still legal to get alcohol. Why? There were loopholes, right? Legal loopholes. You could get wine for religious sacraments. People did it that way. You could get prescribed whiskey and alcohol through a doctor. People did it that way. Okay, I forget what the third one is as well, but there are various reasons why okay, all right, the financial situation of the 1920s moving into the Great Depression also wouldn't allow for that because it was coming up on a big bust before the war, okay? So there's a bunch of things happening in prohibition where this is about alcohol, remember, not analogous to cannabis. The black market has always existed parallel to the main economic structure we have, okay? 25% of all alcohol in the world currently today is produced on the black market. 11.5, I think, 11.25% of all tobacco products are produced on the black market today, okay? So black markets run parallel to mainstream markets. Removing a mainstream product it doesn't bring a black market into existence. The black market already exists, okay? That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So ban it with the criminalization portion now, okay? I understand there are definitely issues with criminalizing a substance, okay, because of the like bad policing outcomes. But that being said, right, in order to ban a product, right, it's a self-perpetuating cycle, specifically with cannabis, because primarily I'm talking about tobacco, but it's a self-perpetuating cycle, right? Because in order to ban the substance, right, look, anyway, look, forget it. You're free to say your point now. The prohibition was enough, right? It's enough yapping.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah, I can't be bothered. Sorry, just say your next point.
Oh, okay. Well, my next point being, aside from the fact that while black markets have always existed, that doesn't change the fact that there are objectively upswings in production of certain things when they get banned. Aside from that,
What's the proof of that?
the main issue here, prohibition. But again, the main issue here is really policing.
I
Because
literally just told you.
unless you are willing to have thousands of people lose their freedom or die in order to ban this substance, you can't effectively police it. Now, if you think that the
That's
outcome
incorrect.
of that more people, hundreds of people dying to police every year and more people being arrested is worth banning this thing that's not actually harming that many people,
Oh, it is though.
then fine. Then I agree with you. But you have to admit
All
that
right,
you are
so
willing to have everyone less free and less safe
no,
in
so
order to ban
right,
this
so
thing. That's
something
objectively
something
what you're asking for, and the
cool.
numbers support it.
All right, let me address this, right? So there's a difference between criminalizing people and making a substance illegal. Okay, you can make a
Making a substance illegal.
Let me
inherently
finish.
criminalizes the
No,
person
it
who
doesn't. We've got
It
cases that
does.
prove
It
this. All right,
inherently
so
does.
I'll explain it
No,
to you.
in what case?
I will explain it to you, right? You can use Switzerland, you can use Portugal as an example. Okay, so you can have a substance illegal, right? But the criminalization of the person who is caught with a substance wouldn't be a thing. What happens instead, they refer to what's called I forget what they call them. Basically, it's just like a help service instead of sending them to jail. Okay, so they don't get a criminal record; they get referred to health specialists. But the substance
Okay,
itself
then
is
what you're
still
talking about right
illegal.
now, what
Okay,
we're talking about right now
in the
is
same
completely
instances,
separate from the point you're trying to make.
no,
You're
it's
talking
not.
about
Let me finish.
decriminalizing use and criminalizing production. When
No,
what the initial conversation should
no,
smoking
no,
be
no,
banned
no.
to
Yeah,
me,
exactly. Banned.
banning the use. Banning the
Right.
use. What you're
Yes.
talking about is
Yes.
banning the production. Banning
No, you're not
production
listening.
and decriminalizing use is different from
Right.
banning use.
This is what
Having
you're
a
missing.
different
All right.
conversation
Okay.
from the
This
one that
this is
we're
what you're
talking
missing.
about.
This is what you're missing, Nancy. Right. Nice name for spiders as well. All right. This is what you're missing. In order to decriminalize cannabis, right, the government has to centralize the power and production of cannabis. That means they have to lock down the market or they have to regulate private industries to be able to produce cannabis. That's the only way you can legalize it. Because if you legalize it and you don't lock down the production process, you literally do what you're complaining about, making the black market richer and funding terrorism. Because you're allowing for more people to use the product at a younger age and get into the industry or into the use
That's
of the
objectively
drug.
not
No,
true.
this is a fact, right? You have to be able to
It's
lock down the
not.
production. You have to be able to lock down the production, brother. Listen, fam.
Decriminalization does not cause the black market to increase.
Listen,
It's
fam.
illegalization.
You're not
Making it
listening.
illegal
You're not
partially does it.
listening, right? Because
That's what
you're
caused.
you've got a conflict of
I am
interest here,
listening,
right?
and I just completely disagree with what
Right.
you're
So
saying.
what
I
is the
think you're
reason?
wrong.
What is the
I think
reason?
that you have to be interested in making people less safe and less free,
All
and
right.
I find
I'm
that
trying to be
disgusting.
patient. I'm trying to be patient with you, bro. All right. You're testing me. All right. So what I'm saying to you,
I don't understand
why
you're so upset.
legalizing it?
I can
Because
calmly
your
disagree.
speaking style is annoying and you're speaking over me, right? That's annoying. Okay. With all due
You were speaking
respect.
over me from the
For
beginning. You
fuck's sake,
interrupted.
shut the fuck up or I'm dropping you, right? I ain't got patience today, right? The reason I'm saying to you, it will make it worse. In order to decriminalize it or make it legal, you have to control or regulate the production of it. Otherwise, once you make it legal, the people will still go to the black market in which they're getting it currently. Okay, that's what I'm saying to you. So if the government doesn't regulate the production of it, okay, you will legalize it and then it will be okay to go and buy it on the black market. That's the point you're missing. Now, why it's a self-perpetuating cycle is if the government legalize it and they allow corporates to make big money of it, you create an arms race, a chemical arms race in cannabis. That means you'll be pushing the potency of THC up year by year in order to get more customers to sell more cannabis. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. Okay, all right, you can unmute yourself, bro. Fucking hell.
Now, the issue with what you just said is that it's not true. Is that the issue, what you're saying, that the potency of the weed is going up and everything. For one, when weed is legalized, people don't go to black market sources as often. That's just a fact. Two, the increase in the
Brother,
potency of weed is more related to, it's more
are
related to
you
capitalism and the
listening?
profit motive of the corporations that own the companies making weed.
So
That
it,
is an issue of
so in
legal
order to be able
capitalism,
to,
not illegal
to be able to go to a
legal
legal
capitalism
source, in
will
order to be able
always
to go
push
to a
for weed
legal
to be
source,
less safe
in
and
order
less.
to go to a legal source, the government has to do exactly what I just said to you. Right? They have to regulate the production of it. Who can and who can't produce it. That's what I'm saying to you. You're not hearing that. Okay? You're making a mute point. And you're telling me what I'm saying isn't true when it's factually true. Okay?
You keep muting me every time I try to make a
Yes, it's
point, man. Like,
necessary. It's necessary. Right?
it's really not necessary. It feels like it doesn't
Okay.
matter how calmly or respectfully I
Yes,
speak to you
because
right now.
if
So I
someone
just
is
want to
said, if
disagree.
someone is spreading misinformation to a platform of
But
people,
I'm not
I
spreading
have to step
misinformation.
in. Okay? You
I'm making
are
claims that I can back up with actual evidence, and you're making claims that you can't back up with
wrong.
actual
That's wrong.
evidence.
I'm literally
And
looking for
every
this.
time,
I'm looking for the source right
each
now as
time
you
I would ask,
speak.
then tell me the source, because
Right,
every time I get ready
I'm
to
I'm
ask you for a
looking for it
source, you
right
mute me,
now.
and every
I'm
time I
looking
make
for
the
it.
point
Right,
that you want
continue
to
continue
mute
to
me. You
make your
haven't actually
points.
let me explain.
Continue to make your points.
Are
Right,
you guys?
it's okay for you to make your points, but don't try and say like what he's saying is a lie. What he's saying isn't true. Don't do that. Right, make your point without accusing me of lying.
If
Right,
you
because
say
if you
if you
accuse
see
me,
something that I
listen, brother.
be
If
under,
you accuse me of lying, then I have to interrupt you. Okay, that's what I'm saying to
there's a
you.
difference. There is a difference between me accusing you of lying and me accusing you of having the wrong information. I don't
No,
think you
bro.
told a single thing you believe to be a lie. I think you're being as honest as you possibly can.
Thanks
I
for the
just think the
patronization. I
information you're
appreciate that. All right, but
I'm
make your
not being
points.
patronized. I'm trying to be
Make your
respectful,
points.
and you're not. That's really confusing to me
Make
right
your
now, because I'm
points.
trying to be respectful to you, and you're not.
All right,
Will
make your
you actually
points.
let me make my points, or interrupt me the moment that I irritate you slightly?
Of course, I have that
Okay,
ability.
then I will continue to make my points. Like I was saying, if you are willing to have people be policed worse and be less safe, then say that, because that is the outcome that will happen if we ban smoking.
Not
Objectively,
necessarily,
more
right?
people will go to jail, more people will be less free, and more people will be harassed by police. You're opening up another avenue for racist
No.
policing to take place by doing
Oh,
it, because
oh, oh, oh. That's an L. That's an
that is
L. That's an
historically
L, bro.
how, again, you're not letting me finish
That's an
talking.
L, right?
You're
You're
not letting
right.
me finish
Look, you
talking.
can't gish gallop.
I'm
You
not
can't gish gallop point to point to point and not expect someone to interrupt.
what
You're
does gish
literally gish
galloping
galloping,
mean?
right? So gish galloping is throwing out a bunch of different points, right, in an attempt to make it seem like you're
The
painting
point about
a
racism
cohesive
is
picture.
completely
You're
related
gish
to
galloping.
everything I've
So you
said.
went from policing, then you went to racism, right? These are different points you're quickly
Racism and
jumping through,
policing are
brother.
inherently connected.
Exactly. So
Racism and policing are
let me address
on
a
the same
point before you
Let me
move on
finish.
to the next point.
I'm not moving on to the next point. I'm on the same point I've been
Right.
on, and
So
you
the
are not
point is
letting me
about
finish.
policing,
Let
right?
me finish. The point is about policing as it is related to the banning of this substance and
Right.
how that will impact the population.
Okay. So
And
let's address that. Let's
the
address that.
racism from policing is one of the outcomes of
Yes,
banning
I
this.
know that. I
Historically,
know that. But you know the problem. Do you know the
the
problem with
banning
that?
of
What
marijuana
you're saying.
has
Listen. Let me speak, brother.
when
You know
marijuana was
what?
made illegal in the
Oh my
U.S.
fucking god, bro. This guy doesn't learn, bro.
When
When
the
you're
leaf
saying,
was made illegal in 19,
I'm gonna give you a chance to come back up in a minute, right? When you're saying, okay, policing will be done disproportionately against colored people, right? You're literally saying banning this drug will give an excuse for more racist policing. What you're saying is we don't want to address the actual problem of racism, right? That's what you're saying. This is what I'm trying to explain to you, right? You need to be able to address the problem of racism, not saying, oh, let's not give them more reasons to be racist. You're being an idiot. Okay, that's what I'm explaining to you. I know there's a disproportionate policing with different cultures and races. I'm aware of that. I'm black, right? But you saying they're going to police you worse because you're black is like saying I'm not going to address the actual problem, which is systemic racism. Right? I want to legalize it. So they like, it's just dumb, bruv. You're not making a good point.
Okay, so you're saying that I'm saying something that I'm not because you didn't let me finish. The point that I'm making is that historically, when marijuana was banned and illegalized in America in like the 1920s and 30s, it was used the explicit justification that was given at the time is that it makes black people and Mexicans go crazy. The term that they used was literally
Yeah,
reefer madness.
that's
And then on
racism.
top of
Yes.
that, during the era of the war on drugs, the illegalization of marijuana was used as an excuse to break up Black Panther meetings. It was used as an excuse to
Yes, brother.
disrupt organizing among indigenous
I
communities.
know, bro.
It was used as an excuse to police these communities.
But
And
what
what
you're
I'm
not
saying
addressing,
is
what
that
you're
it,
not addressing is
no,
the
you're not letting me
underlining
finish.
issue of
You're
racism
not
there.
letting me
No,
finish
bro.
talking.
It's
Not letting me
important.
finish
It's
talking.
important, bro, because you're literally saying, look, they're doing racist things, right? But they use marijuana as part of their racist thing, right? Fine, I'm aware of that. But if you don't
So doing
address
the
the
racist thing
issue,
is also
brother, if you don't address the issue of racist policing in its totality, it won't be marijuana. It will be you're wearing a hoodie, you're wearing shades I don't like, you're driving in a place I don't want you to be. It doesn't matter what
they
thing
all
they would
do
pick.
those things.
They're
Only
picking,
gonna
brother. They're picking the
listen.
thing
The
because
first
they're
thing you said now
racist,
is
not because of
oh,
the
you're wearing a
thing,
hoodie. I
right?
bet you have this illegal substance on you.
Fam,
Now I'm going to stop you.
yes,
You're
it
wearing
could
a
be
hoodie. Now
cocaine. It could be dopamine. It could be fucking, it
exactly.
could be any
So
illegal substance. That's what I'm saying to you.
those things further is
No,
not going to make people safer, and it's not going to
no.
stop people
Right.
from
So,
smoking on you. You
in
are going to make people less safe.
all right.
Now,
So
if you
let's
want to
address
run
it.
with that, then stay on it. Don't sit
Right.
here and
But
pretend
you're
that
creating
it's
a
not okay,
misrepresentation, right?
that more people will die and more
Okay.
people will be unsafe.
I thank
That's
you. All right.
clearly what
Right
you're
now, let me
interested in.
speak. Let me speak. Okay, because you're misrepresenting what I'm saying. So, in the type of
You
ban,
misrepresented
the
everything I
type of
just
ban
said,
I'm
and you
talking
still
about,
didn't
the
finish.
type of
You're
ban I'm
not
talking
interested in
about
having a debate.
is a
You'd love to have your
winding
vetoes
down.
removed.
All right.
You're better
Listen,
than
brother.
everyone else.
Listen, bro. I have to keep muting you because you're too
Why should I
emotional.
listen? You haven't tried to listen.
If you want to talk to me, you have to listen. Okay.
You're the only one who's been cussing at.
All right. The type of banning I'm talking about isn't a criminalization, black and white. Tomorrow it's illegal. It's winding down. It's called attrition. So what you do, right, specifically in terms of the tobacco industry and how cannabis is going to become tobacco 2.0, first you make it illegal or you make it impossible for young users to begin using in the first place, e.g. the law we're about to bring in 2027. Anyone born in 2009 will no longer be able to buy tobacco, right? And every year it will go up. So that means people younger and younger will never be able to purchase the product, okay? This is a part of the attrition strategy to ban it. The second thing is you attack the production of it, the addiction quality of the production, e.g. in tobacco, it would be the nicotine potency. In cannabis, it would be the THC potency. And what you do is you regulate that THC or nicotine to bring it down below in cannabis's instance below 10% THC, in nicotine's instance around the same, right? So what that does is it allows for people who are currently using these drugs, right, to get off of them easier. And then the third phase of banning it is that you offer off ramps to the people who are currently using it. Okay, so what you've done is you've made it illegal for younger people to be able to smoke, right? You've made it easier for people who are currently addicted to substances to get off of the substances. Then you also make it easy for the people who want to get off the substances to get off the substances by offering the various services. It's not an overnight ban to criminalize people. This is the type of shit that emotional, addicted people say. You're not thinking strategically. I'm aware that there's a disproportionate policing of black people, and I'm aware that drugs are a use of that, okay, are part of that. So don't misrepresent what I'm saying when I say banning it. Okay, it's a strategic thing, a long-term thing. Right? You think people haven't thought about that? It's just dumb emotional chatter. Fucking no. Anywho,
Hello?
what's up, FW?
Can you hear me, bro?
I don't know. It's kind of crashing.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
So, my opinion on this, is it just smoking or are you referring to like alcohol, etc.?
Well, obviously we're not. I mean, if we're talking about smoking, that's a particular issue. But yes, I'd be willing to ban alcohol too. Alright. But what do you actually want to
Yeah,
talk about?
That's what I think. I feel like, okay, if you want to ban smoking, like that could bring a good, but at the same time, you would also need to ban alcohol because that is like pretty much just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, but that would be a red herring in this conversation, right? Because then we could also say, hey, we should ban sugar, which we probably should, because we work on that as well in the UK. We should ban caffeine. We should ban, taurine, etc. Like, it would be a red herring in terms of the issue that we're addressing, right? Which is, smoking, e.g., tobacco, cannabis, or whatever else people are smoking. That's why bringing in the alcohol topic is not really a good idea.
Well, is it not a drug that makes you less coherent compared to whereas sugar is just an additive to food?
Well, look, they both have stimulant properties, right? And they're both addictive, but it's a different, like I'm saying, it's a different type of issue. Yes, sugar is an issue, alcohol is also an issue, but we're primarily talking about smoking. So, do you have any views on smoking or?
I do. I think okay. So I think vaping is a pretty big issue for like.
Say again, bro.
So I'm gonna turn 20 here pretty soon, and what I've noticed is a lot of like my friends and most people I know my age are vaping, and I think like more towards that like vaping and probably like the distilled concentrate shit is more harmful than just like traditional just like rolling a joint or anything. And I think that that shit is getting more like widely spread and more popular than how it used to be, like just smoking flowers. And if you look at the like that's the concentrate and the shit in vaping, it can still like be way more harmful than just normally like smoking a joint or like a cigar or anything
Alright,
like
so
that.
this is kind of true. I agree with you to an extent. Only problem is currently in our country, I believe this is down to lobbyists and basically like just basically dodgy politicians. In our country, they're basically trialing vaping to help people get off smoking. But
Yeah.
for some people, this doesn't actually work. They just end up bouncing between the two. Truth be told, with the vaping thing, there's not enough data to say like the long term consequences of it yet. But there's quite significant, like, or anecdotal, if you will, evidence of societal issues, right, nuisances and stuff like that. So that is a problem. But but again, not to be like too traditional in the argument, but I think vaping would be a type of gateway to tobacco, to weed, to other substances, because you're already priming yourself to basically pause, have something in your mouth, and like inhale
Yeah,
and exhale
almost
stuff,
percent.
So. Yeah, and
And like
there's
everybody has
it
their
also
own
preys on
like
children as well, so that's effed up too.
yeah, no, that's not good, yeah. But I feel like I definitely have seen even like my coworkers and like my mom. She used to smoke cigarettes, but she stopped. She's a ER nurse, and she stopped smoking cigarettes to vape. And I do think that's a good thing if you can get off the cigarettes. But I agree that it could just be like another thing can get addicted to.
Oh no, it's definitely just as addicting because you're now concentrating the nicotine. You can buy it in various different like potencies, but I like to paint the picture like this. In the UK, right, you will never find a shop that just sells tobacco products, right? But what you will find across the UK is shops that sell only vaping products. So to be able
Oh,
to sustain a whole industry with just shops that sell one product, the addiction level is significant. So I think there's that.
yeah, I definitely think they could have gone about helping people get off cigarettes better.
Yeah, they
Cause
were
like
like,
yeah,
bro, I used to
the
smoke
smoke and
cigarettes.
all the
There
chemicals
are
in
way
itself made for
easier
us
ways.
harmful.
Like
Sorry,
for
say it one
instance,
more time.
so I used to smoke cigarettes. Right, the easiest way, the strategy that worked for me, right, was chewing nicotine gum. Right, that did it. Okay, it tastes like shit, but it works. Okay, or some people use patches, or some people just go cold turkey. Right, I tried a vape back then, but it was terrible. It's just like, it just destroys your throat. It's just another type of thing to get addicted to. Then you get addicted to the feeling of holding your vape in your hand, or at least if you're driving, you see people driving with the vape in their hand while holding the wheels, this chunky plastic
Yeah.
thing. There's all these things that build up the same habit of addiction that you're trying to get away from, or the psychological part you're trying to get away from with cigarettes. So it's not, in my opinion, a good thing. It's not a good strategy.
Could I ask you something?
Sure.
Is this uh when you say smoking, are you referring to like traditional like weed as well, or just cigarettes and vaping?
Both, just for the sake of it, just for the sake of argument, both. But I'm more
So
like
what would
my attention's more focused towards the tobacco industry, primarily.
okay, I got you. That makes sense. Yeah, there's definitely like major like I can't think of the word, but they definitely try to appeal to the youth, which is not good.
There's no doubt about it. Like, so one could argue that it's literally their business model. If, all right, put it this way, if I forget the actual percentage, right? But almost all smokers begin smoking between the age of 10 and 20, right? And most become addicted before the age of 18. So the business model is literally to get lifelong users, right? And how is that being done? It's being done through a system of influence and coercion. Right? A child, right, put it this way, you're not able to make those kinds of life-altering decisions with clear, rational mind until you're around the age of 25. So your freedoms, your autonomy, your rights to a healthy, safe life, essentially, have been coerced away from you before you're even 20. So like, yeah, like there's clearly something predatory and wrong happening there.
What
Sup,
do you
dude?
think about people getting medical cards before they're 21?
Well, I think that's another time. Like, put it this way, this is just an opinion, though. I think that's another sign of like degradation in our society, basically, because
Yeah.
it's the same way. Like, for example, right, with the prohibition point that Anansi made earlier on, right? During prohibition, it wasn't properly done, okay? Because actually, this is very analogous, right? So some of the loopholes during prohibition was that you could get alcohol prescribed to you by a doctor. So people had
Really, I
special,
didn't.
yeah, people used to get given whiskey and stuff by the doctor as a form of reducing their anxiety and their stress levels. One could say that's analogous to how the cannabis is being treated currently, right? So same thing with religious sacrament, and then like you got the Christians with the wine, and you can say you got the Rastafarians and the various other apparent religions with the weed, right? So there are these various legal loopholes that people are going to exploit to be able to get the substance that they want to abuse, right? Fundamentally, and some of them even use these legal loopholes, get the substance, and then distribute it illegally. So there's that. Yeah, what's up, Lou? What's up, go?
True. That's true. To be fair, though, we also did not have the research and the knowledge that we have now that we had when the prohibition was going on.
Oh
Like,
no,
for example, back then they thought weed was like 5 times as harmful as alcohol. Turns out nowadays alcohol is more harmful.
oh no, alcohol was always more harmful, but the thing is, the difference is, right, so the potency of weed in like the 50s, 60s, 70s was like around the 10% mark on THC, right? I think it was about in the 80s when skunk was actually invented, and from there, like the actual active pursuit of making a more potent plant began. Right, so it's like a chemical arms race to get the most potent, most tasty, most addictive substance. Okay, so what would the comparison between alcohol and weed in the 50s and 60s is not even close. Now the comparison of cannabis and hard drugs is actually real, right? It's like the level of THC and potency you can get of cannabis is analogous to opioids at this point in time in our history. If we commercialize it and make it into a thing where companies want to sell the most of it and get the most customers, ain't no telling what the future is going to look like with what could be done to the cannabis plant, right? So
Yeah, that's
it
definitely
it might
true.
end
Like,
up being worse than alcohol in the end. Right? That's the
it,
problem.
I definitely see what you're saying about them making it more like potent and stronger as time goes on, and I definitely see what you mean because like carts are a pretty recent thing, and like I said, those are more distilled and concentrated than just normal flower is, and that's why if you smoke carts versus flower, like it stays in your system way longer.
I don't know what that is, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry, but so carts are basically a distilled version of weed. It's just like
Oh,
it's pressed
it's like
down
an
to like
extract.
oil. Yeah, it's an
Oh,
extract.
okay, cool.
And so yeah, those are pretty much like the modernized version of weed. Like that's what everybody's smoking now. And
Okay,
I mean, like people obviously still smoke
that'd be a vape,
weed.
right?
Well, yeah, it's pretty much a weed vape. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think I did
But
glance over something like that in the study, but that could also be a problem too, right? Because again, the addictive part is the dopamine hijacking and then the tolerance build up. So that's the reason why people want like cannabis products over 10% THC. So that could be a big problem.
100%, I definitely agree. Because it's I've actually researched this a little bit. Um, Part like the distilled shit. Sorry, it can stay in
So
your system up to like I think it was like 2 or 3 months longer than if you just smoked a normal flower. So that is like literally proof that it's getting more potent and stronger and shit.
but I didn't hear everything you said. It was a bit mumbly.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's rain in here. Um,
Okay.
So I did some research, and the distilled weed, it stays in your system up to like 2 or 3 months longer than just flower would. So that's
Okay.
like is literally textbook proof that shows you that it's getting more concentrated and stronger, and because it's staying longer in people's systems. So why
I
else would it do
see.
that?
I see. I see. I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me though. It doesn't surprise
Yeah,
me.
no, it's crazy, and like I've been to yeah, I don't know. Before I graduated, I went to like 4 different high schools, bro, and it's literally everywhere. It's literally everywhere. Vaping, weed, everywhere. Like it is a problem, 100%.
It's no doubt a problem, bro. And it's like people over or actually people by people looking at their personal liberties and freedoms, they overlook the liberties and freedoms of other people, right? There's no one in society operates isolated. So the things that you do, like that you think is in the privacy of just your house alone, actually does affect other people, right? There's direct consequences, and like not like trickle down economics, but like trickle down responsibilities, like care wise, society spending money on helping you, or like no, it's just various other things that affect other people. The use of drugs is one of those things. The danger you put
Yeah,
yourself in
no, I
psychologically
get
and
that.
physically is crazy. Okay, all right. So obviously we know, most people should know, you do not drink and drive. Okay, because that's
Yeah,
kind of established, even though people still do it, which they're fucking idiots. But you'd be surprised to know how many people are under the influence of various other drugs while driving, because it's not as detectable, but they're just as
yeah,
dangerous. Like their cognitive functions are completely impaired. They just don't realize it. Cannabis is very good at impairing your cognitive functions. Basically, your higher order functions, like things like memory, things like recognition, things like coordination, things like decision making, right? Differentiation. Cannabis just blurs all of that. Right? So people are like, yeah, you get high, you get munchies, and it's okay. No, like you're literally dysfunctional while you're high, and then we take you as an isolated cell, and you're just dysfunctional in your house. Chill, right? But then you got a family, but then you got friends, or then you're in public, and then you're operating a machine, or like all these other different scenarios where you affect other people. Your personal rights aren't ever just affecting you, right? And anyways, right, it's not actually a right to do harm to yourself. Like people totally misunderstand human rights. It's not actually a right to harm yourself. Like that's never been written at any point. Okay, but anyways, but yeah.
um, I was gonna say, sorry, I just lost it for 1 second.
Yeah, it's not. There's no good people trying to compare alcohol to marijuana. Both of them do different things. They're both psychoactive. They both are stimulants to an extent. Right? There's no point trying to compare them. It's like saying, like you got a cokehead said, "Well, I sniff coke, right? At least I don't smoke crack, right?" It's like, why are you comparing your vice with his vice? You're both you're both fucked up. Like, what are you really doing here? It's the same thing. Like you're saying, "Oh, I smoke weed. At least I don't drink." It's the same thing. Okay, it's like there's no point comparing the vices in that way. It's goofy. It's like
Well,
you don't
have
have
you
a moral
ever
upper hand. It's ridiculous.
have you personally experienced both?
What do you mean?
Like, have you personally experienced weed and alcohol?
Oh yeah, of course, bro. I'm a big man. Of course.
Um, I'm not trying to like argue or anything, but okay. So let's
I'm
say
I'm gonna give
this.
you a minute, right, and then I'm gonna bring someone else up. But go for it.
Yeah, no, it's fine, 100%. So say you like absolutely had to have somebody drive off weed, alcohol, or cocaine, and you were going to the store.
I wouldn't
Who
make that
would you have
choice.
drive?
I would drive. I'd be the sober one, or would walk it. As
So
as
if
an adult, right, there's no way I'd put myself in that position or be around someone that would put me in that position.
well,
I've
can I tell
I've
you how you
experienced too
could be
much
put in
life.
this position?
Sure.
So this actually happened to me, but we didn't end up deciding anything. So say you're at like a party or something, right?
Mhm.
With all your friends, you're having a good time. A fight breaks out. Everybody starts fighting. You gotta go because people
Yeah.
are starting to swing towards your friends and shit and wanting to jump y'all. What are you
Right.
gonna do?
Right. So I'm not gonna play with the made up scenario, right? Because there's many ways you can like manage that situation. Look, all I'm gonna say is this, right? The best decision, if you want to win the game, don't play, right? I know it sounds crazy, right? You don't want to get in the car with someone who's driving drunk or high.
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
drive drunk or high yourself. I understand the scenario you gave, but I'm not even going to play that game with you. It's just a bad place to be. Right. Ideally, your cognitive functions and your faculties won't ever put you in that decision, in that place, as long as you stay sharp and aware. What's up, Liquid, bro? That side of YouTube is dead, man.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
Alright, so if you're thinking clearly, you're making good decisions, I don't think you'll ever find yourself in that place again.
Sure.
Alright,
I
but
appreciate you talking, man.
appreciate you, F-Dub. Take it easy.
You have a good day, bro.
You too. Don't get in the car with anyone who's drunk or high, bro. Fuck them, bro. Just wait, just stay there. Like, maybe walk, I don't know. Call a friend, call a family member to help you. Oh, Ryden. What's up, bro?
Yo, bro, I feel like your analogy of like the crack and coke thing isn't really much of like a argument point.
It was a
just
joke.
because of the fact that it was a joke. Okay,
Yeah, like, it's just to
say,
point out the ridiculousness of it. Right, but like,
I do
obviously
get
it's
how
two
kind of
different
ridiculous
it's
because
two
they're
different
apples and
forms of the
oranges,
same,
you know?
not necessarily, it's two different forms of the same substance, really. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, like, you trying to present a moral ground based, alright, put it this way, right? How can I word this? If the only way you can feel better about yourself is that you have to make someone else feel bad about themselves, then there's something wrong. Right? So if your standards for I'm a good person is at least I'm not that person, then there's something wrong. So you're creating basically
Right.
you're building your identity on the negation of someone else's identity. No, that's not healthy. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Honestly, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that completely, man. That is a good point why you can't really compare them. But I feel like the only reason people compare them is in the states one is federally legal and one isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there was a time that doctors used to prescribe cocaine to children, bro. It was legal.
True.
Okay.
True that.
So
That
look
is
at
very
the
true.
times we're living in now. What makes you think
Yeah, that is
people aren't
true.
fucking up?
Right. I mean, do you think that alcohol should be banned as well?
Yeah, ideally, right? Unless again, it will be the same kind of issue with the prohibition, right? There should. Oh wow, I died. There should be. Right, so you're going to need to produce alcohol for various different products on a manufacturing level and on a medicinal level, like cleanings and all various other things. So alcohol as a chemical substance, right? Totally fine. Alcohol for recreational consumption, we should be able to raise the consciousness of society to move past that. My opinion is alcohol is a tool that's been used on us to control us. I say this as somebody who used to deliver kegs and beer and all kinds of spirits to bars, clubs and stuff like that. The British population is over medicated and just completely alcohol dependent, right?
Oh, 100%.
Historically, how alcohol has been used during war times through the economic crisis, it's a finesse, okay? So on that level, I
Right.
think it's something most, right, put it this way, just like smoking cigarettes, alcohol is something that we've been primed psychologically to entertain, to be involved with. Out in the wild, you won't find alcohol like that. You can produce alcohol from fruits and stuff, like you find out, oh, this is fermenting, right? Interesting, right? But the actual manufacturing of like spirits and beers and stuff like that, that's not a natural thing. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you think that a majority of these things would be a lot better if it wasn't done to like the mass extent that it's been to,
What do you mean?
well, you said not for recreational use, like for medicinal, right?
Well, yeah. Like the thing is, like I was just saying, you naturally, okay, if a substance wasn't available to you, you wouldn't pair it with all these various different points of life. The reason you pair these, like alcohol with celebration or cigarette with stress, is because somebody sold that image to you through media, through priming family wise, psychologically. Right? These aren't
True.
things that you just find and pick up. These are things that are told,
Right.
like shown to you. This is how we operate. This is the normative way we operate in society, but it's dysfunctional. Okay, it's not.
Yeah,
It
right.
was
No, I
never.
agree.
It was
I
never a
respect
good
that.
good way of doing things. It just become normalized. That's the problem.
100%. Honestly, yeah, dude, you've changed my perspective on that a little bit. I gotta agree with you there, because a lot of these things they've been societally implemented instead of being something that's a part of our natural routine. You know, like washing ourselves is a part of our natural routine. Eating is a part of our natural routine.
For
Drinking,
some
all
people.
like drinking water. For some
I'm
people,
just playing.
for
Just
some
playing.
people, yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are kind of just in a way normalized to such an extent where we do think it's natural.
No, but see
Like it's
the things
natural to have alcohol at a birthday party now, you
the
know?
things you pointed at are utilities. They're they're necessities for life, like eating, drinking, like cleanliness. Right? They're necessities. Right? The additionals, like the psychoactive active substances, most of the uses of them have always been a form of escapism. Just like I'm playing this game, but even this game has more cognitive value than an psychoactive substance. Right? You got problem
A hundred
solving,
percent.
you got reasoning skills, you got spatial dynamics, etc. Right? So don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's okay to have surplus sometimes, but when the surplus has been manufactured to literally damage you in the long run, I'm not even explaining this correctly. It's
No,
just
I agree with you.
it's
I
a
feel like what you're
trap.
trying to get
It's
at,
an economic systemic trap. Alcohol, drugs,
100%. It's part of
tobacco.
capitalism,
It's a trap.
right?
That's the way I view it. Unfortunately, regardless if you have a good time or a bad time, there's a reason why the
Right? No,
option has
yeah.
been presented to you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So you think that option should be taken away because of the freedom that corporations are given to be able to exploit the people that get addicted to these types of things, correct?
Partially, yeah, I think that's a part of it, no doubt.
Okay.
I think also
Yeah, no,
it's
I
an
agree with
infringement
that.
on your freedom as well.
Yeah, I think so too, because some people, are able to have that self-control where they can be like, oh yeah, I can moderate myself. And then some people just get sucked into it, like you said, and they get addicted. And then, like those corporations just try to figure out what can you do to sell people more, to keep them constantly coming back.
Moderation is part of the trap, though. Right, that's
It is making you believe that you have moderation too,
right,
because
right.
in a way we all crave things that make us escape. I don't know about all of us, but a majority of people really do.
Kind of, kind of, right. But the thing is, like, right. So I understand this. I know that what I'm about to say is super optimistic and even naive to an extent, right, a massive extent. But the aim should be to change society in a way where we don't have to cope and we don't have to try and escape. That should be the ultimate aim, right? Because we can't,
Right.
like, how many plasters can you stack until infinity or until humanity is extinct? Like, how many plasters and band-aids can we keep putting on an issue instead of going to the base and addressing the issue? Do you know?
True.
The, the,
Yeah,
the,
no, I agree with that.
the view of moderation is the same kind of again, I can't explain it like philosophers do and like psychoanalysts do, but go look up a lady called Alankar and a guy called Slavoj Žižek, specifically on the smoking topic. It has a lot to do with Hegel and negation as well, right? But anyways, okay, as a layman, okay, one of the biggest psychological traps in something like smoking cigarettes is the view where you tell yourself, this is the last cigarette I'm going to smoke. In the same way, you create a fantasy for yourself in the bedroom, right? All right, so this is a lot to go into, and I'm going to try my best to make it make sense, okay? So,
You're good.
coitus, right? Having sex, right? Historically, people like Aquinas would say this is animalistic, right? This is having sex just for pleasure is animalistic, right? The reality is it's the inverse, okay? An animal has sex to reproduce, and sometimes it's not even consensual. A human has the ability to have sex for the sensuality, for the spirituality of it, right? The mental part, which is the layer of fantasy. Okay, so the ability to engage in a fantasy of the act is what makes it purposeful to the human at all. Okay, in the same way, being able to say to yourself, not smoking a cigarette or this is my last cigarette is a fantasy on top of an action. So now it makes the experience of the cigarette that much more intense because you've told yourself this is the last time. Now I'm able to, like, let's say, falsely induce extra set of dopamine around this experience. Now you say this is the last
Right.
cigarette and you take the cigarette, you experience it, then you go for a period of time, you say, but one more and this will be my last cigarette. you're engaging in that fantasy again, right? Which is what keeps you trapped in the view of, I can moderate this, I can manage this. Same thing could be said about alcohol. So half of it is the substance itself, but majority of it is psychological. So you can't really moderate a poison. The only
No,
rational,
yeah, I
sensible
agree.
choice is to not engage with the poison. That's it.
Honestly, yeah, I agree with that. To be fully honest with you, if we didn't have these things in our society, if we never really introduced them, we'd probably be in a lot better of a spot. In so many ways,
I
like
think
with
so.
medicine, with just really everything. You know what I mean? Because a
Yeah.
lot of these things are, yeah, like you said, are just distractions. They're just for pleasure, and it doesn't bring
No, no,
any good.
but they're not even for pleasure. That's the killer. That's actually the
True,
killer.
true. Because it's not right. It
Right,
makes you think it is.
right.
Right.
The fantasy of the engagement is the pleasure. Okay,
Exactly.
the drinking in a social setting isn't the actual drink. It's the socializing. It's the commonality. Right. It's the excuse.
Right.
It's the excuse to be this version of you that you can't be when you're not so, like when you're sober. All of that is really psychological. But if you was to just extract alcohol in
Right.
its pure chemical form and take it, it's nasty. Okay, same thing with nicotine and
Yeah.
smoke.
Right.
Right, it's not the actual substance itself. It's the myth you build around the substance, and then once you do actually start using the substance, now you're chemically dependent on it, and you'll be chasing that fantasy that you created of the substance
Right.
use.
Right. I'm gonna bring up one last thing because this has been sticking on my mind because you've changed my mind about some of this stuff, and I honestly agree with you.
That's
But
cool.
my issue to this comes to where now who are we trusting to regulate this? Because now we have to give this over to the government, and they're going to be controlling this, and so everyone's thinking, oh well, now what else are they going to take away, or what else are they going to try to regulate? You know what I mean?
This is true, right? But I think that, all right. So again, more naivety on my part, right? More like optimism, right? So one thing you have to obviously address: governments are supposed to function as an extension of the people's will, right? So the government,
Correct.
really, in all reality, the government is people. Okay, most of us in society, especially like if you interact with conspiracy theorists, right, it's always the government, like this secret hand, this big other. But really, it's people with names, jobs, and families, right? All government departments are full of people making decisions, right? That's the idealistic part of it, okay? So the naivety is saying, yes, the government should actually function as us and we are them. The reality is, no, it's probably a totalitarian kind of oligarchy happening. That's the reality where I can see, all right, yeah, you don't want them kind of people controlling your rights. But here's where you think about the actual regulation part, okay? The government, you need them to be able to regulate the private industry, right, which is the production of the substances on a mass level. That's where you need the government to step in. But in terms of regulating it on the street, you have to change the public consciousness around the experience or the substance itself, right?
Right.
Because like
Right.
I know I can't think of like a really good analogy just on the fly, but something like asbestos, right? Saying you can't have asbestos probably really pissed off a bunch of builders at a certain time. But for society, it was bad to have asbestos, right? So the government should protect the interest of the public's health, right? And protect the autonomy that you should have over your rights. For instance, right? Again, just a layman, right? But I forget the guy. Like, is it John Stuart Mill or something like that? You have, in order to have freedom, right? You have to have a certain level of limitations to ensure future freedoms, right? So in the instance of tobacco and alcohol, right, if you was to use that to a place, or like, it's like the argument he's made was basically you can't have the freedom to sell yourself into slavery because that would inhibit future freedoms. So there has to be a limitation on freedom to be able to say you can't sell yourself into slavery, so you can like keep hold of future freedoms. Basically, same thing could be said about alcohol and tobacco. If you make
Right.
this decision to engage with this addictive chemical substance, you actually rob yourself of future freedom and autonomy. So at that level, societally, you would be saying, all right, we have to change the consciousness around how we interact with the substance. So it's not that we're taking a freedom from us, we're returning and ensuring future freedom. Right? And then obviously there's the part of policing it. That's what I was trying to say to the Anansi guy. you don't criminalize it overnight. You wind it down, right? You make it easier for the people who are currently stuck on a substance. Again, a part of that ensuring the future freedom is that your decisions aren't being made by the chemical dependency. Okay, so that's how you actually ensure your liberty, that your choices are actually your choices. Okay, but in terms of enforcing it, you have to wind it down, kind of like what the British government's doing. I'm not exactly like the best guy to talk to about this, but you attack the production of it, you reduce the potency and the addictive quality of it to help people who are currently addicted on it. You make it impossible for young people to start in the cycle. So you interrupt the marketing plan of the corporation, essentially, to get young, healthy users using so they can have them as customers for life. You interrupt that chain, right? Now, battling the public consciousness around the topic makes it so in the household, in the friend group, the influence gets reduced. Okay, so you don't, and ideally, as you're ramping it down in society, you don't have to rely on the police and, you know, various other means to come in and actually stop people, right? It's like a slow cessation. That's the view. So,
yeah, I agree with that, man. Honestly, that's a good view. That's a good way to put it. You know, and I feel like the only problem that people have with that is, yeah, that's in a completely optimistic society. You know what I mean?
to an extent, but it's just to the point of like a libertarian's view on you know, total body autonomy, right? There are instances where you can't have total body autonomy anyway, right?
100%.
Like the view of you can't sell yourself into slavery. You also shouldn't be able to consent to cannibalism or public execution or like maiming and stuff like this. So if those things are in consideration already, this would just be another preventive measure around self-harm. Again, self-harm doesn't just harm the person, right? It harms the immediate community, then it harms the people who have to involuntarily clean up after you. Right, so
yeah, I agree with that. That's a really good way to put it. It's a good way to put it in perspective.
So there you go, right? Like, you hurting yourself, well, you think you're hurting yourself, but you're actually, someone else is hurting you by coercing you into that choice ultimately. So it's the robbery of your will and then your long-term freedoms. So I don't know, right? It's, however you want to deal with that, it's up to you. Okay.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, dude, thanks for opening my mind on that. That's a really, really good way to put a lot of this stuff, because a lot of people have the instant idea, oh, they're trying to take away from me, they just want control. Oh, they just want us to not have fun.
In some
they
instances.
just want us to this, and that.
That's true.
Right, yeah.
Well, think about
in a way, it
the
is
war on
true,
terror.
But
that's what that was too. To get surveillance states, more surveillance, more policing. That the government does do these overreach of rights. They are right in a sense, but I don't think public health is the same type. You know.
Right. Like, you don't think it's very intrusive to do something like that?
Yeah, I think it if done properly.
You think it's like preventative? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if done properly, it's like saying, look, you can't pick something that isn't an option. Right. So I'm not robbing you of being able to make choices. I'm just literally taking an option off the table. And that's the point of making it impossible for the future generation. So it's never even a thought and an option. Right. And then you help the current generation by making it easier to leave and return their freedom. You know?
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. I agree with that. That's
the point.
Changed my perspective on that, dude.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. Thank you for enlightening me and having me up here, dude. Just wanted to ask a couple questions and you answered them perfectly.
All right, go spread the good news, bro. Go quit.
Thank you, man.
All right, I appreciate you, Ryden. Great.
Appreciate you, man.
Really great avatar as well, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Ryden took the hits up front so everyone can live peacefully.
Yeah, dude, he did.
Yeah, man.
He did.
Ryden had a fucked up life, bro. Again,
character, man.
But in analogy-wise, right? Ryden is a child soldier, so he's a product of the system. Okay? Everything that happens to Ryden is because of the adults that are running the effed up system already, right?
Yeah.
And so then Ryden has to go fight the Lale Lulelo and then free Rose's kid, his kid, and Olga's kid, right? So it's the same kind of fucking rights and freedoms you're fighting for, ultimately, right? Ultimately, it's the same thing, right? Metal Gear Rising. What were they doing in Metal Gear Rising? They're kidnapping a bunch of kids and taking their brains and shit and putting them into computers. It's the same kind of thing, right? It's the same fucking thing, right? They're robbing you of your future or your autonomy.
Right, right. It's just how you look at it. It's just how
Right.
you're, because a lot of people look at the surface level of things and they don't look at, what's going on. They just see, what's happening. They don't understand what it's actually causing,
No doubt, right?
you know?
Speaking of that, right, that exact avatar in Metal Gear Solid 4, right, so Hideo Kojima is also guilty of pushing smoking propaganda on kids. Remember like 1 and 2 and 3,
Dude,
right?
Metal Gear Solid made me think smoking was cool, dude.
Right, but no, he tried to. This is the deep part about it, right? He tried to correct it in Metal Gear Solid 4 because he showed you old Snake trying to smoke a cigarette at any juncture he could and coughing his lungs out and basically dying. He literally showed you the long term effects of it. He was like, look,
Yup.
I was saying it was cool in Metal Gear Solid 1 where, like, Snake needs to see the lasers, right? And I was saying it
Right.
was cool in Metal Gear Solid 2, right? I was saying it was cool in Metal Gear Solid 3 in the jungle with like, Jack and all that, right? But now look,
Now look at the repercussions.
right, look
Yeah.
at old Snake,
Right.
right? You see when when he's dying and he's got the mask on his face, right? That's exactly what
Yeah.
emphysema and COPD looks like. That's what lung cancer looks like.
100%.
Right,
Yeah,
so-
that's powerful. I
That-
honestly didn't even realize that, man.
That's
You make
what
me
he
wanna
was
go and
trying to
replay
show
the games
you.
now.
That is what he was trying to show you at the end, right?
That makes so much sense. to
Like
me
that
now,
was the
yeah.
point, right? When he when they're all like when Mei Ling's giving a briefing in the boat, right? And like and she says her piece and she's like undermotivated, and then Snake's like, anybody got to smoke, and he just starts coughing his fucking lungs out, right? That's
Right.
what he's trying to show you, right? This shit
Yeah.
kills you.
It does. It really does, dude.
It's like, anyways, all right. Nice to meet you, bro. I didn't even get your name, bro.
Yeah, man. It's nice to meet you too. My name is Brandon, dude.
Nice to meet you, bro. All right,
Nice to meet you too, man.
take it easy.
Thanks for having me up here.
No problem, bro. Oh, that is also why he changed it to a vape pen in Metal Gear Solid 5. Right? Vapes didn't actually exist in the 70s and the 80s, okay? But he added the vape pen for Venom Snake because of that, because of the undue influence from the other Metal Gear Solids, okay? So this is like harm reduction in media, okay? This is why we do what the fuck we do, okay? Anyways. Who was here first? I don't know who was here first. It doesn't tell you. Yeah, vaping might turn out to be worse, but nah, Static, you weren't here already, and I've spoken to you before, Static. So we'll give someone else a chance. Someone has the name Uchiha. Being that I'm a Naruto fan, we got to speak.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna lie. I really just was coming up for the about the cape. Like, did you have to get the golden needle?
Oh, what this?
Yeah, the cape. Yeah.
No, it's just a mod, bro. You just sit down and just change your cape, bro. You just put the cape on. Just go auto
Wait,
garments, and you just add it.
It's a mod.
Well, it's
'Cause-
not like an illegal mod. It's like part of the game. It's like you just go there and you pay, and it changes the armor.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just the beast armor. You do the Volcano Mana quest. You get the armor after you beat the guy. You just edit.
Yeah, like, cause I beat him, but I didn't realize that that's the armor that's in my inventory. And then when I'm seeing you with it, I'm like, wait a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, my fault. I don't want to take up your time.
You literally just wanted to ask me that. Alright, fair play.
Yeah, that's it.
I say took the time from someone else, man. Damn it. All right, appreciate you.
Sorry.
Take care, man. We're coming close to the end as well because I'm getting hungry and it's getting late. It's like nearly 9 o'clock. Yo,
What's going on, buddy?
how are you, bro?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Not too bad, man.
I hear that. All right. So, is your life based off nicotine, vapes, or is it weed? Or is it any form of smoking?
Well, so initially, right, I thought I'd just give it a shot. This is an issue I actually care about across the board, right? But primarily, my most concern at this point in time is the tobacco consumption, right? Being like the smoking of cigarettes and tobacco related products. But that also kind of leans over to vaping and cannabis just by proximity.
So, I've been smoking marijuana since I was 13 years old. I'm 26 now.
That's unfortunate.
It's been helping a lot with my schizophrenia, PTSD,
Ooh,
ADHD.
I don't think that's true. I think that's misinformation, brother. Like,
What do you mean? How is that
have you seen a professional about this?
Yeah, I'm diagnosed professionally, homie.
When did you get your diagnosis?
When I was 15.
All right, so you've been smoking since 13. You got your official
Yep.
diagnosis at 15. For what did you get
Yep.
your official diagnosis?
ADHD, schizophrenia, and PTSD from abuse.
So you know there's a direct correlation between cannabis and schizophrenia, right?
No.
Yeah. Between cannabis and psychosis and schizophrenia, long-term use of cannabis, it's a consistent pattern. It's actually called CIP, cannabis-induced psychosis, but long-term psychosis becomes schizophrenia. So you should probably talk to your doctor. Did your doctor know that you were smoking weed?
Yeah.
Right, that's crazy to me, bro. That's crazy to me. But sure, like, no, anyways, right, this isn't about your personal
No,
experience, bro. So sorry,
with the
my bad.
nicotine, with the nicotine and tobacco, I definitely agree with that.
No,
I agree with you on that.
it's the cannabinoid, bro. It's the THC, and it's the damage it does to your prefrontal cortex. Okay, it's like your brain development gets effed up, right, long term. And if you're already predisposed to mental disorders in your family, it just heightens the chances of it getting worse. But hey,
I mean, it
anyways,
hasn't gotten worse. That's my point is it hasn't gotten any worse. It's gotten better tenfold. Like I own a business. I own a house at 26. On 4 cars. I have
so
a family.
that might be your anecdotal experience, but to me, right, those aren't parameters for good mental health. Right, material, like, you can be high functioning, various different degenerate ways, right? With all due respect, I'm not saying you are, right? But to me, those aren't markers of health. Having money, having a business, having a family. They're just like standard, like 50s economic stuff. Right? Your personal experience is your personal experience. Just to be clear, I can't say that you're lying to me. I don't know you, right? But the general view, right, is there is a bad correlation with cannabis and mental health. And it's not a good thing. So I can't speak on your personal experience, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of cases out there that can attest to what I'm saying.
I've never heard one
Oh, that's
personally.
unfortunate. But yeah, let's not make this an anecdote battle. So what's the point you want to make?
Oh, that was the point. I'm saying that it has not negatively affected my life. Period. Yet it is yet to make me go anywhere but up.
All right.
I grow it.
Ooh,
I can't sell it because it's illegal
they're good.
in my state.
Well, do you know what I would
But
say?
I grow it.
I'm totally against everything you said. Now, whether you're lying or not, I can't be sure, right? But again, I'm not here to break down your personal experience. I don't know you, right? But I think this is not the general consensus. This may be you. Like, you're like one of the people. You know, like when they say like, "Oh, look at this person who's been smoking cigarettes and they're like 100 years old," right? You might be one of those types of people. But look after your dog as well, man.
She's whining because her mama just left.
Yeah, look after your dog, bro. I don't like to hear
Look
dogs.
after my dog.
I don't like to hear dogs whine. It's triggering for me.
Well, I mean, when they miss their owner, I mean, it's gonna
Yeah.
happen, dog.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of how it worked as a kid too. When your mom leaves, you cry at the daycare.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to hear it on the live though, with all due respect. But yeah, anyways, very blunt. I appreciate you for coming up, bro. Warren, what's up? Static, we spoken already, bro.
What do you mean smoking? What's your problem with it?
I think it's a net
Like
negative.
cigarettes, marijuana, all of the above?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just think all of them are a net negative. Each one of them has their unique, like, bad points. But in general, like, smoking is just a net negative.
So like you don't care if people get their nicotine through chew.
I think,
You don't care about that.
well, if you're already addicted to nicotine, I think that's a very good alternative to get away from the smoking part.
What are your thoughts on people with chronic illnesses using marijuana?
I think if it's prescribed in a medical setting, I think it's very well. I personally, I disagree with it being used like commodified in this way. But if it is actually being prescribed in a medical setting and hopefully in the extracted form and not an actual smoked form, then fine. But I think a lot of people abuse the system and the loopholes to be able to smoke for free while pretending that it's helping them when it's probably.
People are not smoking for free, man.
I don't mean for free. I mean like legally. Right? So But yeah, in some instances it's free depending on what country you're in as well, right? But anyways, my personal hang-ups with the medical industry doesn't really matter because that's just my opinion, right? I'll let the professionals handle that.
So you just don't like the smell of smoke?
Well, who does like the smell of smoke? But this isn't like, what do you actually want to ask me?
I'm just confused. Like, have you ever been at a campfire? Do you like,
Right,
you know,
so yeah,
can't...
a campfire is a different type of smoke, obviously, right? When you're talking about tobacco smoke, or you're talking about carcinogens, arsenic, and then the smell, nicotine, and various other substances and chemicals in it. It's not the same as a campfire, burning of wood, or like a wood, like a stove, or like a chimney. Well, all those things, they're not great, but they are ways people have survived and cooked food for a long time. But you're not supposed to be exposed to smoke for a long period of time. The human anatomy isn't made to be able to inhale smoke. This is what produces COPD, emphysema, asthma, lung cancer. Right? Just the human anatomy isn't built to inhale smoke, any type of it.
I mean, no living being is made to inhale smoke.
Well, there you go, right? What does that tell you? It's like you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Well, this is a weird prompt. I'm sorry you don't like smelly things.
Yo, what's up, cop, man? Shit, what happened to you? I don't like smelly things, but look, it's deeper than just not liking smelly things, bro, okay? So, in terms of tobacco consumption, the actual production and consumption of tobacco is immoral across the board, like whether you're a utilitarian, a consequentialist, an egoist, like across the board, it just doesn't hit a good criteria for like what's considered virtuous or moral, okay? It's across the board, it's immoral, the production and sale of it, right? But then you're thinking about the years taken off people's lives. So there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world, okay? Half of them will die because of smoking. So that means the mortality for smoking is, right, so 10% of all deaths in the world, I know my figures are a bit dodged, right, but you can check these for yourself. 10% of all deaths yearly, right, are because of smoking, okay? 8 million people a year die directly because of cigarette smoke. So it's like 7 million something die directly from smoking, and then 1.6 million die from secondhand smoke, right? So that's nothing to scoff at. That's a lot of people dying. And then there's a lot of people who are sick on the way to death because of smoking. So it's not just like, oh, you don't like the smell of smoke. No, it's like, of course I don't, obviously. But I put it to you like this, right? If someone says, here's 2 buttons, one button saves 8 million people, the other button kills 8 million people, like, which one are you going to choose?
I don't like responsibility like that neither, man.
But which one would you choose is the question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's totally fine.
I don't know.
Alright, that's suspicious, but fine, right? Fine.
Oh, so do you drink at all?
Nah.
What do you do for fun?
I talk to you.
And it's not Elden Ring. Fuck that game.
I talk to you. I go to the gym. I eat good food. I listen to good music. I explore cities. I travel. I read good books. I watch good movies. I do lots of things for fun. I sometimes try to talk to women. But yeah, like, what do you expect me to say? Do you think in order for me to have fun, I've got to take a substance? Yeah, like,
no.
women are a bit
I
finicky.
mean, a lot
like,
of people I know.
I'm joking.
You know, their idea of fun is drinking and smoking, and I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's not really much else to do other than.
Right, no, but I disagree.
That.
I disagree with you, right? So I think that's something that's been propagandized to you. That's something that's been, you've been finessed to think that drinking equals good time, smoking equals good time. That's not a truth. That's not a universal truth in any way. That might be an individual experience, but I'm pretty sure, like most of us who've been living in the past, century or 2 centuries, we've been exposed to various levels of propaganda that makes us associate drinking with celebration and smoking with like hardship or sometimes celebration. The idea of cigars and stuff have been commercially linked to successes. The idea of champagne and whiskies, the same thing. Okay, us being exposed to those propagandas is what gives us this view that substance abuse, right, means equals good time, when it's not the case.
I agree.
So maybe there are other ways to have fun then, more.
There are.
All right, there you go. All right, so and look, you could like, there's like, I'm not against being a hedonist. Right, if you're just gonna like live your life to just enjoy the pleasures of the world, totally okay with that, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. The only problem is, in this instance, you actually are hurting other people. Okay, so that's all I would say.
I mean, I drink and smoke from time to time, but like my cutoff is when it does affect other people, and it usually never gets to that point. And I would say,
Well, it does.
Drinking
maybe in
tends to
limited
do
ways.
that more than smoking.
Look, right, so we all should, again, this is just like idealism, being naive, right, but we all should be on some kind of journey to be more conscious and more aware of the things that we do and how we affect other people, and the things that other people do affect us. Okay, the minute you ever get involved with using a substance, it's not just a you thing, right? It might be slow, like changes of mood, changes of attitude, lack of motivation, or just, like just saying something that's out of pocket that you probably wouldn't have said if you were sober or clear-minded.
Mm-hmm.
That you just don't notice those things because you're just living your life and you kind of got blinkers on, but it's affecting other people, and there's no doubt about it. I'm not saying you couldn't do that while you were sober too, but there's a difference in it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't know how people are giving you shit for this. I mean, how can they debate on it? Smoking being good. I mean, this is crazy.
It's feelings, man. It's feelings. It's a combination of feelings, politics, and their own personal addictions. And I hear it, but I think there are good counterpoints to all of those things.
Yeah. I mean, if someone's angry with you, with this prompt, it's kind of...
people are angry.
Crazy
like,
to think.
You can't, look, I'm not a Christian, I'm actually atheist, but bro, they literally killed Jesus for telling the truth. So what do you think people like the truth? Like, they don't like the truth. So just considering that, people will be angry.
Do not let that Static guy up. He looks fucking creepy.
Nah, Static is chill, bro. He might be a little bit angry, but he's chill, right? But anyways, this is the last one for the night anyways.
Alright.
Hey, that's a big fact, Liam, right? Appreciate you for coming up, woman. Take it easy. The most littered item in human history is cigarette butts. The most. Okay? And when you throw cigarette butts, you damage the environment. So you leach the chemicals into the ground, right? So like arsenic, carcinogens, whatever other shit's in that cigarette butt, right? It's a type of plastic that's like one of those forever chemicals as well. So there's that. But then the problem is you got air pollution from cigarettes, but the next level is going to be the nuisance that comes from weed consumption, right? No one should have to be experiencing psychoactive drugs, right, if they didn't choose to, right? So that means people smoking in train stations, on trains, at buses, on corners, outside of a shop, like just in the way of other people where they got kids and they got family, in like council houses or blocks and stuff, terrace houses. No one should have to smell like... The modern smell of skunk is so potent that someone could be walking past your street on the other side of the street and that smell will waft into your window. That's how bad it is, okay? No one should have to experience that involuntarily. So there's various different types of pollution. So anyways, that being said, everyone get some sleep, eat some food, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate you guys on the YouTube, although like the YouTube is super dead. I don't know what to do about it right now. But anyways, see you later.